So welcome to Mind Unplugged, where we're gonna unplug your mind.
And open your eyes.
We got a very special guest today.
Yes, we're with Knoye. She is a humanitarian, honestly. She's able to bring people together with her kindness and love and her knowledge of numerology and so many other things. We are here in the garden where I was blessed to get in contact with her, and we're just going to go ahead and pick her mind and see how she came to be this awesome, beautiful soul that she is today.
Amen. Amen.
Yes, amen, ashe, all of it. Anything you want to say.
All right, so the first thing that we're going to get into, Knoye is really big on numbers. If you guys know her, you know that numbers is her thing. So, what got you into numerology?
So, what brought me to numerology was after my birthday last year on 5/5/2021. I started to notice tons of nines and couldn't figure out like what's up with all these nines. And it was the 9th year since my son's murder, so the nines like really stuck out to me. And that year I turned 45 and he turned 27 months before me, which is nines. So the nines just began to open up, and then recognizing, yes, our ages, and then also the 9th year of my breakup. So the 9th year of my breakup, that should have been a tragedy for me, but it was actually a triumph. And just stepping into my nines and learning about my nines, and then looking at my parents having 3 children, and then myself having 3 children, and then my daughter having 3 children, 3 boys. So that was amazing to me, just to see the beauty of the nines and how the nines followed me. And with the 333, so with my parents and my daughter and myself, my home address was 333, which is powerful to me.
What does number 9 symbolize?
Completion.
Well, that makes sense.
So yeah.
I feel like you've completed your path here, and you're now moving on to your next destination. Unfortunately, Knoye is going to be leaving us, but it's not unfortunate because she's moving into her next journey. She's done such a good job at being a healer at this community, bringing so many people to understanding. Now it's time for her to go ahead and heal others in Florida. But I just wanted to see what the number 9 meant. And yeah, go ahead and continue.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, and then I began to make my own decisions at that number 9. So I also broke something in our generation. So, and not just my generation, but generations afar, and also the ones that's close. And then, so it was like, how couldn't I believe numbers? And numbers never, ever lie. So that was the beauty of my my awakening and becoming. So yeah, it was a complete year for me.
That's what's up.
Which is ironic because after we met, you told me my number is 9 too. So I know with everything with your completion and new beginnings, you know that's where 9 falls into. But as far as like with my birthday and 9 being my number, is that still completion, or is there something else, another meaning that comes with it too?
So it is several different meanings with the 9, but for me, I believe like this is a completion of you not knowing. So I believe that this is a completion for you to step into your documentaries, your movies, your music. So, and when I found out Jamal is a number 9, I was like, whoa, my son is a number 9. So I found out last year in my becoming that my son is a number 9. So that was the power to see. I knew you were connected to me.
Okay.
So it's like certain things, numbers show me like the connections and the people that's connected to me through my son.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and he did a documentary. They were always recording him and my nephew, which I didn't know. So just to see the beauty, like, yo, you was doing this. So now you are about to walk out what my son didn't complete, but he completed through so many people.
I figured, I kind of felt that. Like I told Jamal, I was like, yo, I think she sees her son in you. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, cause like whenever you see him, you kind of like light up. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, there's something special. I was like, I think that's what it is. I was gonna wait till you said it, but like I kind of felt that. You know what I'm saying?
And I like instant connections with people.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And that's why I always say, don't chase money.
Yeah.
Money, don't chase it. It's an energy, and it's gonna come.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do right by it. And doing right by it is the community, is these connections that we have right here. Because without relationship, life don't even matter, in my opinion.
That's true. Because what's the point of having all that money if there's nothing to use it for? Like the right way to use it. Because you could buy cars, jewelry, all that other stuff, but basically we're still living. And we wanna make money to have a better life, but if you're not creating a better life, then why were you chasing the money?
Yeah, and I mean, like, for me, I worked the whole 9 to 5 and all of that. You know, chasing that money because I felt like money was security. But what security is knowing yourself. And as soon as you know yourself and you're walking your true path, you know, the money's going to come. You know, because the source. If the source can provide for these plants, for you know, the insects that eat the plants, unfortunately for for us, because we're trying to grow these, you know what I'm saying? But you know, or even the birds that go ahead and eat the insects. Everything is designed in such a way that there's so much abundance in this world that we were blessed to live in. So why wouldn't money or our prosperity be in abundance as well, as long as we walk in accordance with our life path?
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that. And I definitely want to study and look into numerology more. I always like numbers anyways. You know, math was one of my favorite subjects, so you know, just because I was a numbers guy, I didn't know what numerology was until recently. So I was like, this had to come up for a reason. So now I want to learn like what that reason was.
Yeah, and I believe that every person, minus judgment, should have the opportunity to study what they want to study and not be confined to a box. And you know, say these different things about us because we study this, because you don't know no one's heart.
That's true.
I also feel like, you know, when it comes to the box, it's because we were programmed pretty much to stay inside of the box. And, you know, that's where hate comes from. That's where a whole bunch of stuff that gets us off balance comes from, because we're scared of what we don't know. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, why? Why can't you step out on faith and learn something new? Open your mind so that you can continue to grow.
The box is a comfort zone. The box and comfort zone are pretty much like one and one together. So we box ourselves in a comfort zone of, you know, what we were taught by who was around us, what we believe. And there's so many people that are scared of the unknown. So that's why everybody likes to stay in a box, because they're comfortable. You know, like they put that perimeter of comfort around them, which is the box. And, you know, it's hard to step outside because you don't know what's going to happen once you're outside, you know, what you do know already. Even though we don't even know what we know, we just feel like we do.
Yeah.
Yes. And sometimes when you feel like you know what you're supposed to do, it is a turn in the road. You like, hold up, I thought I was going that way. And then the road is like, no, you're going to go this way.
Yeah,
You know something I heard that was inspiring too? I forgot where I heard it from. This was years ago, but somebody was talking about like, sometimes they veer off, they get distracted, but they feel like their life path is like a GPS. Because once you put the address in the GPS, no matter what turn you make or where you get off, the GPS always reroutes you. So they say your life path is like God rerouting you. So every time you think, all right, you know what, I feel like I want to, just be like a dentist or whatever, and things keep blocking and getting in the way, that's literally life and God rerouting you, because like you're not meant to be a dentist. So no matter how hard you try to go in that direction, you're always going to get rerouted back over here. So might be an artist deep down or a chef or whatever, but you're always questioning, why is this not working out? Because like your GPS is literally taking you where you're supposed to go. Your address, as soon as we're born, our address is typed in, because we started that path. So no matter what we do in life, something's always gonna guide us and reroute us to exactly where we need to be.
Yes. Yes.
And I felt that way too when it comes to. Well, first I want to touch on when you said comfort zone, right? I love how we call it comfort zone, because why are we comfortable in being complacent? You know what I'm saying? Why do we find comfort in not being our full potential? Why is that even called your comfort zone when it's more so your bondage? It's more so your chains that's keeping you down. The uncomfortable, the unknown, that should be our comfort. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We should find comfort in our lessons and finding out more about our life path and about our path that we were born to take. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we were taught to call it a comfort zone, but really it's just a fear net, a fear cushion.
That's exactly
I guess, because we're not even in our comfort zone. Like there's a lot of times where I try to do stuff where I'm comfortable, so I know the 9 to 5, I know warehouses, all the other stuff, but I still felt so uncomfortable even in the stuff that I knew already. So everybody's uncomfortable in their comfort zone, but because of fear, they're never going to step out. If we're already uncomfortable, we might as well just keep making ourselves more uncomfortable by stepping out.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yes, that's how I feel too. Step out in the unknown, because make yourself uncomfortable. Because when you're uncomfortable too, I believe for me, that's when everything unfolded for me. But when I was just like in the church, stuck in those different scenes, I felt very, very unease, like the storm that would go on inside.
That's where anxiousness and everything else will come from. It's just feeling uneasy inside, because the real you and your purpose is shaking up in you. So until you start to like embrace it, that the anxiety is just your body like trying to like just shaking you and be like, come on man, do this, just do this. So that's how I feel about it. But my segue into it is like starting about like new beginnings and all that is the biggest thing that inspired me when I met you. It was on your born day, and you talking about you being 1 year old. So I really want to touch on that, like what brought you to even feeling that way. So I want to hear your side of it, because that was, it touched me when I heard it, and I felt emotions when I heard it, because I was like, I understand what you're talking about. So I want to elaborate on that, because that meant a lot when I heard you say that.
Yes. So let me see. That one would be when I came into my my awakening with the number 1. It really made me think about like 45. I have had all these rules in my life, and like nothing ever panned out. I had to be this adult, and I'm like, why do I gotta be adult? So 45, I was like, oh shoot, 4 plus 5 is 9. I am spiritually 9 years old. That means I could relearn life. I could rethink. I could have my own mind once again. So I said I'm 9 years old, but with a lot of experience. So I got to use all my experience and also still be a child.
Yeah.
And be a child with the children that, you know, I meet. I'm like, I would ask them their age, and some would be 9. I'm like, I'm 9, right with you.
That's what's up.
You know? So that was like the beauty of stepping into the spiritual realm, because the spiritual realm also, I remember, you know, the scripture that says, how could you be of old and go back and be born in the womb again? Yo, I'm old. Like, how do I go back in? And it's like, no, it's a spiritual.
Yeah, that's when I hear that particular scripture. You know, it's because Jesus or Yahshua was actually speaking in the spiritual realm. But the people, like so many of us now, we still live in the physical realm. We still live in the 4th dimension. And he was trying to wake people up, but some people just aren't able to see it. They still have that veil over their eyes to be like, how can I be reborn? What are you talking about? And just like how Knoye's talking about, hey, I was 9. Many people would be like, what are you talking about? You're not 9. You know, so I think that's beautiful.
And then on my birthday, I turned 46. So then I started all over. So now I'm 1 with amazing knowledge and wisdom. So now I could like hold on to my wisdom, my knowledge, and my understanding that for many years I sat there in church like, I don't understand none of this. But I kept going. I never gave up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And when it comes to also what you're talking about, you know, with the looking into life completely different. As soon as, you know, I changed my mindset and realized, you know what, I have a blank check. And every day I get to choose what I want to do with this check. You know, it completely changes things to where you can be, you know, like that spirit child again, and you can say, oh, these are new experiences. Like, what am I doing? Like, how can I make this, how can I play when it comes to life? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes.
I feel that.
Yeah, like, and really live, go back to a child. You know, like on my born day, we had water balloons. Y'all seen that?
It was a big water fight, that's for sure. I was drenched that day.
Yeah, man. Okay, so the kids were all coming after him, right?
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, let me redirect this, yo. And then he brought it over to me. All the kids came to me, man. I was completely dry, and then all of a sudden you see him with a big old thing of water and just boom on me, and then all the kids just followed suit.
Dry off.
Oh man, I was like, no.
Yes, yeah, but y'all got to be children.
It was fun. I had a good time, and then the dancing, you know,
that was the highlight of everything. Like, so her name was B. Yeah, like at first she was just on the floor by herself. Then we saw the dance battle. But I remember I went up to DJ and I was like, hey, can you play this song real quick? And as soon as he turned on my request, like I just went in and everybody started gravitating towards the dance floor, and that's when we started to circle. You know, everybody just came together, and like it's been so long since I got to experience that. Music and dance has always been a ritual in all types of tribes, and it just felt so good. I felt so alive in that dance circle, so that will always stand out to me, where like your born day felt like a born day for me, especially because stepping out and doing what we're doing started now. And so I always thought like 2022, I told you that 2022 is going to be that year where like I finally branch out and become myself. So when you said that, that's why I felt so emotional, and I really wanted to talk on that subject, because I feel like, I guess since you had a year already to do that, that makes you 1. So I'm a newborn now. So I feel like 2022 was my newborn. I'm finally rebirthed into my purpose. So next year I can finally have my born day of being like, now I'm 1 year old. Now I'm 1 year old.
Yes.
That's what's up.
Yeah, and I chose to do it in the garden because the garden, to me, this was my beginning in this garden, where I had to be like so open. And it was, and in my openness, I would have moments of, oh, I'm going to hell, you know? And it was like, wait, hold up, hell is right here on earth. heaven is right here on earth. You get to choose. But that was, and I think y'all missed the piñata.
I did.
Yeah.
We did the piñata too.
That sounds awesome.
And the piñata had fruits and vegetables in it, and Sabria snuck candy in there.
Bad. We can't have a piñata without candy.
Oh, she was like, fruits and vegetables? What you mean?
Because there's only so many you can fit in a piñata before it fills up. So candy.
That sounds pretty awesome though. Not the candy, but the fruits and vegetable idea.
Yeah,
I really like it. I never thought of that.
Yeah, because I seen it when another group did a piñata, and they had fruits and vegetables. I was like, that is brilliant.
That sounds cool.
Yes.
Well, that actually goes ahead and puts another segue into your community work. What led you towards, wanting to unite people of all different races and all different backgrounds?
So I started out in these streets at 14 years old, running away, and I was more like, I was a rebel. I was like not going to school. What is school? And I would just be in the community and embrace the community, but still not really like nobody that I thought. And then I always had my children volunteering, like community work. 1994, my son, we were always in the community, always embracing the community, always just like loving, cooking for the community.
Yes. Y'all, she makes some good food. Like, if y'all ever come to the garden, man, if you come during the time that Knoye gonna be here, she always, well, not always, but most of the time be blessing you with some like boss food.
That
she
food
made,
on your born day was delicious. I had a full plate and I was like, man, and it was all vegan too. And I was like, this is delicious. It was so good. Those noodles, especially the noodles and whatever had like the beans in it. But those two were my top favorites right there. Where I was like, man, I love it.
Yeah.
Yes, and I could say my hands have turned into gold when it comes to creating from the garden. But we used to cook all the time, meat and stuff. And it was like, even with that journey, like the meat journey, like going to, on Thanksgiving, we went to go serve the less fortunate. And they just wanted to go and serve. I was like, no, let's go and sit with them. Like, let's not just serve, but let's go and sit.
Yes.
And we were in the park for some hours on Thanksgiving, and my family, they're like, you're not doing Thanksgiving with us? Yo, y'all could come do Thanksgiving with us. So I knew I was supposed to be in the park. We would do senior citizen cooks and go in there and serve them bingo. We would always, like, I just found the niche in the community, and I knew sitting in church, unity always came up, but I didn't see it. I'm like, where is this unity that this Bible keeps talking about? So I just kept searching, but then it was like turning back, like, you got to be the unity. You got to be what you want in this world, because people aren't just going to do what, you know what I mean? Like, they're not, you could tell people all day long, but if they don't see it, they don't understand it. So
understand it, like it.
Yeah, I want to touch on that, because when we were talking earlier, like you had stopped yourself from saying the word understand. So like elaborate on understand, because this is the first time I heard that word today.
So for me, understanding is like me knowing myself, me truly saying, you know what, I don't understand this. I want to understand. I don't want to understand, because understand, like, where did that come from?
Because what are you under when you're understanding? Why is the word under in there? We never actually questioned that. We just used the word. So it made me think about it when I heard understand. I was like, why haven't we been saying that?
Yes, and I want to understand myself. Like, not even understanding the world, but understanding me, and why do I do what I do? Why do I stand on these values? And am I gonna let what someone say that they understand change the way I think?
Yeah.
Because I want to really be understanding my walk, because no one can walk my walk.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And I feel like, when it comes to that walk, that's why I don't really like the box, because everybody has their own intimate walk with with the Creator, with them, with our ancestors. It's a different walk for everybody. So for us to understand our own personal soul and our own personal being. So I think that that's really awesome.
Yeah, and I think understanding for me also, it's a sense of control. Like for me, it's like, do you really understand me? Did you say you do? And then if I do something wrong, it's like you'll cut me off. So no, you don't understand me, and you don't understand what you're doing when you just cut people off like that.
Yeah.
For the way they believe, or the way the money they make, how you walk. No, like love is love, and love is loyal.
Love is beautiful. The world needs more of that.
Just loving human beings in the world in general. So a lot of people, as soon as you say the word love, you think relationships, but love is just like, when you come here and we're with the plants, you gotta love the plants in order for them to grow. You gotta love the earth. You gotta love yourself in order to even wake up. So, love is just like a universal word of just knowing that you can wake up and just be on this earth and enjoy it. So love and joy is always like one and the same thing for me. Yeah.
That's what my walk in love and joy. That's what my grandson named me. We just figured that out this year. Jakari, love, joy. I said, baby, you gotta be walking in that love and joy. You can't just be looking, like so reserved. Yeah.
You see slowly breaking out of it. I see you. I'm like, okay, I see you.
Yeah.
But what I also, because to touch on the community thing, like what I wanted to ask was, when you first had started this, because right now you're bringing all walks of life. There are 2 times that I got to do events with you, like gatherings, yes.
Yep. I did the same thing.
There was literally like all types of races that showed up. But before this all started, you met everyone. Where was it scary? Were you a little hesitant on it? Because sometimes it is hard to bring, not only just like, even if you're bringing a black community together, sometimes it can be difficult. So to bring that many different types of people from different walks of life, was it a struggle, or did it just naturally come easy?
I would say it was a struggle, just because some walks of life you were taught that you can't be involved with. So if I'm married, I can't be friends with the single. If you're going to church, you can't kick it with the person that man and man, woman and woman, prostitute.
Yeah.
You couldn't have relationship with them. So as I began to like read the Word of God and break out of that matrix, it brought a different view. And then in my awakening, I began to join a book club, and these were 18-year-olds probably to 27. So they all have different views on life, and it was like embracing that and listening, and then going to dance with people that is gay, people that is different. So them being different, I began to embrace all walks of life, but it didn't come overnight, because I had to break all this learned behavior off of me.
Yeah.
Well, that learned behavior actually goes into another thing. When it comes to what kind of challenges have you faced in your lifetime?
So just recently, I didn't know I had prejudice inside me. I didn't know I had white prejudice. So as I began to face those dark parts, but it was like not really dark, but the awareness that it brought to myself to see like, yo, you got some stuff inside, but facing it with the people. Hey, this is what I'm feeling inside. Challenges of being like when I first started like my challenge going to church. Like I had to. It was like I cut off everyone that I knew. So starting all over, very judgy, very, very judgy. If you smoked weed, I couldn't be by you because that might jump on me. You know, it was like your sin that they make you think will jump on you. But I'm like, yo, this comes from the earth. Like this is healing. So I went through a lot of pride too. Like a lot of pride, a lot of feeling, you know, like I'm better than you. I don't do that. But then learning that, yo, all sin is the same sin, you know? And what is sin? And I believe that the sin is if you hate someone, if you mistreat someone. You know, it's not all this stuff that we done threw in here. We done threw all these attachments that the world have to have. So then we make it so hard for the person to even breathe and live.
That's true. Actually, you know what? The sin thing reminded me of the other day when we were talking and learning that sin was actually just living outside your purpose. So I just learned that day, you know, that everybody thinks sin is just doing something bad or whatever. But originally the word sin was meant to like describe you living outside your purpose. And I had learned that then just like a couple days ago. So I didn't know if y'all wanted to talk on that too, because that was mind blowing when I heard that. I was like, oh, that's where the word sin started.
It literally means to miss your mark.
There you go.
And I feel like that is just mind blowing. You know, as soon as I found out about that, I was like, whoa. Another thing, I can't remember what the Hebrew word is, but while I was doing my studying, because like for me, I also found, you know, my path and source from really actually taking the time to not listen to what people say about the scripture, but to read the scripture for myself. And I'm the kind of person that likes to dissect things, so I dissected all the words. And one of the words literally means for us to contort, you know, because we're not in alignment. So like, you know, when you watch those scary movies and you see like the demon thing going like all like this and stuff like that, that's pretty much what it's talking about. Like we're just like, you know, in a form that we're not supposed to be in. It's the Hebrew words are just like,
wow.
You know what I'm saying? But as soon as I found out about those two particular words, then I was like, whoa, that completely like changed the way that I saw things.
And that had me thinking too, because you know they say, okay, well if you drink, fornicate, smoke weed or whatever, that's a sin. But at the same time, that's another box where it's like everybody can commit the same sin. But really, if we all have different life paths, then if you're missing your mark, that's your only sin. So everybody has a different way to sin. So some people, smoking weed or, you know, partying or certain things might not be a part of your past. So it's a sin for you, but it could be like a blessing for somebody else. So somebody's sin is another person's blessing, just like another man's trash is another man's treasure. So we all can't go from the same sins or blessings. You know, you just gotta find out once you like live your life.
And like you know, what constitutes, you know, sin. And then I also feel like, you know, that's where judgment comes into play too, because just like you were saying, you were like, oh, while I was in the church, I was extremely judgmental. And, you know, I was the same way. I was like, you know, everybody's gonna go to hell until they like bow down to Jesus, you know what I'm saying? And you know, if you didn't believe what I believed, it was because you were still in the dark, you know? But I was in the dark. I didn't have enough time to go ahead and, like you were talking about, go ahead and looking into myself and seeing the things that I needed to fix, because I thought I was perfect.
Damn, so you're projecting so thinking everybody else is in the dark was projecting your own traumas onto other people. So you never knew you were in the dark while you were pushing on everybody else. That's deep. That's deep.
Well, that's a deep way for you to look at it. I wasn't even thinking about it like that. But
I'm the same way. I like to dissect. So when I'm listening, I'm just like, yo, like I started just seeing outside the box. I like that. I like that.
But it's true, because I thought I was, like, when I came up in here, I thought I was awake. I was like, yo, no, I was Lazarus, sleep for 44 years, you know, and that's an 8. But 44 years sleep, just like Lazarus. So, like, a lot of people think we left God, but no, we just found the God inside us. That's what I have found, the God inside me. And you talk about Hebrew. So the Hebrew Bible. I was volunteering at a church, and I had become their leader.
Okay.
But when they came and asked me to be the leader, I was like, I'm all inside myself, fighting like I'm not a leader. This person never knew I was fighting within, but then my intuition, which I didn't learn intuition until June this last year. My intuition led me to what I needed to be doing with the Hebrew Bible, well, with being a leader for them, because I was like, okay, I'll do it. And I led their ministry for 3 years, but one of the ladies was like, she's not a member here, why is she leading this? And I was like, interesting, you know, just to see how our mind thinks. And I was the best leader ever.
Yeah.
I gotta give it to myself. I was the best lover, peacemaker ever, and bringing the people together in that scene. And but still not too sure about myself, because there was still storms going on, because I couldn't be myself. But I was myself. But and just like looking back, what if I would have said no?
That's the thing. I feel like most leaders are called. The ones that seek the glory, those aren't leaders yet, because they, you know, you shouldn't seek it. Your community should just naturally see you as a leader, and you're called to lead. You know, they promote you. You don't promote yourself.
Right, and that's so true. And a lot of people do promote themselves, or they're like, I'm a leader, I'm pastor so and so, and I could not stand titles in church.
Yeah.
I was like, my name is Knoye. No, even with the children, I'd be like, my name is Knoye. You know, no miss, none of that, because those been titles that we've been conditioned to, and then it makes us think that we're better than, or we're this. But going to like lead this church was like beautiful, because I also had maybe 3 years ago, a lady and her husband, they were about to be homeless, and I remember us just like having great conversation, and she told me about the Hebrew Bible. The Hebrew Bible just sat there. I tried to open it and read it, but I'm like, I don't get this.
Yeah.
And maybe a month ago, the Hebrew Bible came alive. And I was like, whoa. But that beauty, that I got to go into the unknown, because that's the unknown. Hebrew Bible and not the King James Bible.
Yeah.
You know, and people would talk about in church like King James Bible is the only way, and I'm like, they all been wrote by man. So really, what is the way? The way is going within.
Yeah.
Preach. That's the truth. You know, like, our scriptures have been manipulated and omitted so much. How do we know, you know, what is real, what has been put in, what has been omitted? And I feel like the only way to really, well, for me, the way for me to read the scripture is by reading it in spirit. You know,
spirit and in truth. That's scripture for you. Spirit and in truth.
Yeah, it's all perspective. So if you think about it, if all these books were written by man, it's only written by the perspective of the person that wrote it. So how do we know the truth if it's only by one person's perspective?
Yeah.
And you don't, you know? And we are the walking stories. We're actually living. We're the hands and feet of, if you want to call it him, Jesus, Joseph, Yahshua, Buddha, Allah,
Muhammad.
Yeah.
like whatever you want to call. But one thing that I remember in scripture, whatever you believe it to your fullest.
Yes.
Not what someone else thinks, but to your fullest, and that's how you become in tune with self.
That actually goes into the next question. So, when it comes to following your calling, how do you know? How are you able to tune in your ears to knowing your soul's ears to knowing which way to go? How do you know?
Okay, so when I first started like in church, so 1999, I walked in Old Ship of Zion Church, and Old Ship of Zion Church, I wasn't married, but I was shacking up, as the Christians would call it. I wasn't married, and they were like, you know, you need to be married, all this stuff. And I was like, you know, okay, I need to be married. I always wanted to be married. So some stranger walked me down the aisle. My daddy was so mad at me. And then I knew that I had to go work for the bar, but it took the man asking me over and over and over to come be a bartender. I was like, no, it's too rough in there. Them black people, them black men, I'm not going in there. And he was persistent, and I went and told the church. I said, well, going to be a bartender. And he said, well, how can you serve two gods? You're gonna hate one or love the other one more in that scripture. So that stuck with me, and I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying, but I'm going to go be a bartender. So I just like stepped out in faith, and I was there in that bar for 7 years. And I thought I was living then, but I was getting all life experiences, all the diversity, all the different people, shooting, so much different stuff that was experienced in that bar. But the beauty was me coming out the bar and inner knowing. Like one night I was going to the restroom. I just quit, and I was going to the restroom, and flashed before my eyes, you're about to lose your life. I was like, about to lose my life? But I didn't understand. I went back to drinking. A few minutes later, I got into a fight. And I was like, yo, I don't even fight. I said, but I hear you. And that week, I was up out of there. We went traveling through the neighborhood, and I didn't even know I was going to find a church. And I found a church, and that following year, my son was murdered. But I knew in my heart I was supposed to forgive. So it was like my intuition, which I didn't know was my intuition, but it was steady leading and guiding me, even though all the people would be like, what are you doing out there? Why are you going to this church? Why are you? Because if you go into different places, you might get changed. You might be taunted. But I kept following that, and I didn't know I was following all these directions until last year.
Now, when you hear these callings, is it like audible words, or like how would you be able to kind of explain?
That's a good question.
So sometimes like I could just hear it, sometimes I can't. Sometimes it's numbers, sometimes it's what someone says, and I'm like, yo, deja vu. So it's like for me, numbers, I know by the numbers, but I didn't come in tune with that until it didn't all come at once.
Yeah.
Like I didn't come in tune with that until I would say like June, when I felt my intuition, when I knew that intuition was guiding me. Lessons. But it took me to listening, and then in my research, because I write constantly, and I never knew I was writing.
This woman is a prolific writer, yo. Every time when I first met you, yo, she had her notebook, and she was talking about, like, she was like, yo, let me tell you about numbers and everything, and I was like, what? Yo, she had like a full book, and the whole book had writing in it. Like, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I just seen that the other day.
Yeah, and I didn't know, like I was like, once again, Lazarus, wake up, But I did a video, but for me it was like, I forgot what name I said, but it was like, yo, wake up, it's time to get up, you got a job to do. And when my son was murdered, that's what I heard in the hospital. I wanted to tear the place up. One side was like, tear this place up. The other side was like, no, you got work to do. But it was like a calm, still voice. And I said, I realized recently that was my son as he was dying on the table. Yep. Yep. And that year, like, I became just like walking, and I didn't even know I was walking in my pathway. Because that year, the Lord was like, because I went to counseling stuff. The Lord was like, no, you have Gold Canyon candles, that it is 49 states coming here, and you're going to be a witness. And then you have a family reunion that is at your house. And I was like, I'm supposed to be under a rock right now, Lord. And then you have a retreat that you're about to go to, and you're not even going to know that you're going to speak at this retreat because I'm going to put your name on there without you even knowing. And when I got there and seen my name on there, I got there at nighttime, and my heart dropped into my stomach. I'm like, Lord, you know I don't speak. And then I was like, all right, you got my name on here for a purpose, so I will do this. So everything was like things that was presented to me was like, all right, Lord. 2011, when I walked into First Pentecostal Church, they were reading. I'm like, Lord, you know I haven't read since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Why are you having me read? And I wanted to like just be in hiding. I'm like, okay, maybe they won't notice me. They won't notice me.
I know that feeling.
I mean, I think we all do, man. You know, when you want,
out loud,
I feel like, especially when you want to hide, that's when the universe is like, okay, I see you, and then it's like, bam, put a spotlight on you. You know what I'm saying?
That's like the teacher. Everybody raising their hand, they got the answer, but they looking at you because your hand ain't
right.
up.
It's like,
come on, man.
Yes. So that year before my son even was murdered was the year that I was like, hey, I gotta step out and I gotta read in front of all of y'all, even though I'm scared as I don't know what. And I just began to read that year, read and write.
That's what's up. All right, and then the next one would be, for some reason we got into stones. I don't really remember what that was about, but I guess we were talking about that.
Yes.
Stones and crystals.
On 6/5 and 6/4, we were at a gathering at the Ma Wellness Center. They were doing this gathering, and my friend Angelica was there, and it was her birthday the next day. And she asked me, she said, you want to go to Sedona? Because it's my birthday. And I was like, no. I just met her. I'm like, no.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Dang, just me. And she like, yo, let's go to Sedona.
Yes.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So I walked away saying no, but my heart was saying yes. And I told the acupuncturist, Benjamin, I said, should I go to Sedona? Yeah. And he was like, yes, go. So I went back over there to her. I was like, I'm going. So that night we slept outside, y'all, in her SUV. And I woke up that morning. I was like, oh my goodness, this is beautiful. And my friend, I was on the phone with my friend, and he gave us places to go check. He gave us a hotel to go check out. Okay. So not knowing it's a stone place right next door, and I see it, I'm like, so I call him, I'm like, hey, it's a stone place right here. He was like, you wasn't supposed to say that. You wasn't supposed to notice that. I was gonna tell you about that. So we met his friend, and then we went next door, and me and Angelica, I'm feeling all these energies in here. I'm like, I feel these stones. What is this? And the energy was powerful, and I get to the back. Angelica, she's like, hey, I'll be back. And I'm looking, she's like, do you trust me? I'm like,
I just met you, but
I'm like, okay, yeah. So I hear drumming come through the door. I'm like, oh, we about to get kicked out of here. And then I'm just like, you know, man, do what you do. And I'm in the back part, and then I walk around. She's still drumming. The lady comes up to her, and she's like, you know, it's customers here. You can't be doing that. And Angelica gets irritated. I'm like, she got something she got to deal with. So we get to this other side, and I'm still feeling the energy, and we get to the sound bowl hill, and I'm like, what is this? So I go to playing that sound bowl, and who joins in? Angelica. I'm like, oh goodness. So the lady comes once again, and Angelica's like really mad now, and she's talking, and I'm very calm, you know, and I just like stop playing, you know. I'm like, I'm gonna let her play. And then she's so mad and furious, she's just like, I'm done. So it's like she's dealing with all this different energy inside her. Then we go to this other side, the energy is flat. I'm like, yo, something's wrong on this side. This energy isn't right over here. And it was powerful because I was like, yo, I'm feeling stones, but still not knowing. But I continued to step into it, and then stones began to find me.
Yes.
I didn't find them, and everyone had given me these stones and bracelets. And as a child, me and my sister always wore a lot of bracelets. I wasn't into that. That was girly stuff. So to me, and then I look back, I'm like, whoa, I'm like my sister. I got all these going on. And then like everything, like this one found me at a winter solstice.
I love that. I'm always looking at that one. I love that one.
Is it possible that you can bring it up to the camera? We'll go ahead and
let me see. We'll go up.
Oh, that works too. I was about to say we could probably zoom it, but
yes, so they could see. So this is the hummingbird, which was at the winter solstice that I went to. And here my daughters showed up, and they were the Pharisees. They were like, you're going home. And I was like, I'm not going home. And I like ran from them, and I went in another area. I'm like, they're not going to come in this area. And guess who showed up? Them. And then I go to where the music is, and I began to feel the energy, and I moved them with the energy. It took a minute, but I just like went to the ground. And we did, me and a guy named Julian, we did a yelling thing back and forth with each other. They did some different like things. It was amazing. And he was like, you remind me of my grandmother that passed away. And he wanted to give me this. And I was like, wow, which I had just learned about the hummingbird, how they go up and down, back and back, side to side. That was like beauty. Yeah, so, and then all the other ones, the bloodstone, which is a protection one. This one was given. Yeah, so it's so much history. It's so much. Yes.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, so yeah, stones found me. I didn't find them. And every stone spirit spoke of always, let me see, all my chains and all my bracelets have been purchased. Only one the other day, someone in the garden where we're sitting at, Bridget Pettis, she had prayer beads, and her prayer beads broke. And the prayer beads that I had was the only thing I purchased on my body. So I knew they were for her.
Nice.
And I was like, here you go. But and I knew. So that's that inner knowing.
Yeah.
But you also have to go through releasing stuff. So I knew that I had to release having a fear of being naked. Because that was like the last thing that I needed to release in my spiritual journey, because that was a shame. The body was a shame because they taught us the shame.
Yes.
Always change everything on your body. But when you're natural, you don't have to change anything. You just be.
Yes. I remember the first time that I allowed myself to just walk around butt naked. It was awesome because, like, you know, you don't have to worry about what your clothes is saying about you. And you're not looking at the other person like, you know, what are they portraying. You're more so, you don't even actually really look at the other person's body. You're more so just looking at the other person's spirit, you know. And it's really beautiful, honestly, to be able to just be in your natural being. It's something really powerful about that.
And it's crazy that we have to even get back to that, because we all born to start off naked, and like, you know, before clothes were even invented and made. And the fact that we got so jaded and stuck in the system in a box to have to even want to get back to our natural state and feel uncomfortable at first even being natural, you know, it's just wild to think of how, you know, everything led us to that.
Yeah.
Yes, and where are we at? Where they began to be naked at?
Yes. In the garden, y'all.
If it wasn't for YouTube guidelines, we would have done this interview naked too.
No, but this garden is definitely a place of community. I'm so happy to have met this beautiful spirit here.
Oh yeah.
And I do want to go ahead and I want you to promote yourself as well. What is your Instagram? How do people get in contact with you so that you can continue building these rich communities wherever you go?
And we'll also put all this information, you know, within the description of this video too. So you'll hear it and then you'll see it once we post the video.
Yes. So I'm Knoye Brown, 1920 Instagram, and then Knoye Brown on Facebook. Yes, and that's how you get in contact with me. And yeah, and just be, y'all, relearn, rethink everything that has been taught to you, and fly and love and embrace yourself and embrace people. Like, your tribe is amazing, and your tribe helps in your processing. Like for me, 44 years, I could say, like, even though I had like bits and pieces of people, but not like last year. Last year, the tribe just came, and even though I had like trust issues, I faced those things that was inside face on. Like, I don't want to beat around bushes. I want to face it and do my shadow work. Because shadow work is very important. Shadow work hurts.
Can you explain shadow work? Because I actually don't even know the definition of it.
I was about to ask about shadow work too, and I got distracted. So I'm happy that you brought that back up.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So shadow work is, for me, shadow work has been like the things that you can't see that's inside. So like how you went and you got all this information inside you from everybody else, and all you know is you don't even know who you are. You don't know which mask you're wearing. So when you begin to do the shadow work, like things face you in the face, and it's like, yo, what is this? Like, I broke into my sister's home at 14. So to come back and face me in my face, and having to apologize to my sister for what she never knew I did, but I knew what I did. And the burden that lifted off my body was like 100 pounds, but that is that where you what is it, like where truth and something, I can't think of what it's called.
Resonate?
Yeah, like when you tell the truth will set you free.
Yeah.
The truth will set you free. So in all my truths, they have set me free. So that's that deep shadow work, ancestral shadow work that you don't even know is there. Like, I didn't know, you know, I had the white prejudice. So I had to face it, and I also had to talk to the people that I was having this issue within me, within myself. And then also with shadow work, knowing what's your stuff and what's someone else's stuff, because other people will put their stuff on you, and you think that that's your shadow work, and you like, no, because it don't even sit comfortable with me. But yeah, that's that deep shadow work, and I just had a deliverance, as I had to. People will call it homeless. I don't, because home is where the heart is.
Yeah.
And living on the land can never be homeless. So I ended up going to a person's house, and they lived in a trailer, and where I robbed my sister was in a trailer home. And I was like, yo, I'm 14. So I felt that 14 release up out of me. So the 14-year-old had been stuck inside me, and I didn't know she was stuck inside me and didn't know how to get out. So to experience that, and the way that I knew to go to this person's house, once again, I wasn't trusting. But her son is 9 years old, and he kept, is she coming? Is she coming? Is she coming? And I was like, I am coming. And when I got there, he gave me his bed and everything. And I was like, what's your son's sign? She said, Pisces. My baby is a Pisces. The White Westbrook is a Pisces. So that's how I knew my connection with them. And her children was all of me. So her 14-year-old is my Leo, my moon. Her Taurus is 4, that is my God. Her 12-year-old is my Scorpio, which is my ascendant. So like the power in that, and the mom is a Leo, so I got to experience a mom that just embraced me. Yeah. My mama didn't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So to be in this trailer, and then also have this white issue once again come up with the man that's doing her electricity for free, right? So the next day I had to really like embrace that and go like give gratitude. I was like, gratitude for you doing this, you know, a heart that shows up and love without expecting anything. But because of the prejudice that was sitting in my root, it didn't want to see the gift that he was given. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, especially in our community, it's hard to face the fact that, you know, we naturally, a lot of us have prejudice, especially towards the white man and the white woman. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you know, a lot of black people are like, oh, black people can't be racist.
Yes, we can.
And we can be racist. Yes. We can be racist. And I understand, you know, that we've been oppressed by the white man, which makes us, which after a while, you know, if something gets, after a while, you know, an animal knows what its predator is, so they know to stay away. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But then, you know, just like, let's say that, you know, because we're all animals, right? So let's say that an animal goes ahead and they're feral, and they know that humans are bad, but then there's this human that says, hey, let me go ahead and take you in, or let me feed you, and you're like, oh, so now all humans are bad. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. It's the same thing when it comes to the white man and the white woman. You know, so it's because I'm also facing that shadow work when it comes to the prejudices that I have, not only with the white man and white woman, but also when it comes to the church.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you brought up shadow work, and that you informed our viewers on what shadow work is. Yeah. And hopefully we'll be able to go more in depth with that later on in our travels and our journeys with you guys. So till next time.
Well, before we sign off, there was one little thing. It's always random that I do with people, but when you brought the word deja vu, anytime I had a conversation with people, it was something me and my big sister talk about a lot. Like everybody's perspective and definition of deja vu, where do you think it comes from? So I want to hear like your perspective on deja vu.
Okay. So deja vu, I feel like deja vu is like, this feels familiar to me. So like this feels familiar. I don't know why it feels familiar. Like this is familiar, like when I showed up at the Mormon church, right? I got the calling to go. Don't know why I'm going, but when I got there, my body said, been here before. You know, so that was the deja vu, maybe in another lifetime, you know, because people don't teach you, like, no, you've been here before. Some has been here before, some is fresh. But most of us, this is like a repeat.
Yeah.
So yeah, deja vu is like that to me.
All right.
Yeah, that's how.
I just wanted to hear your definition on it because I asked so many people over time since I was like a teenager. What do you think deja vu is?
Yeah, what do you think?
I mean, for me, I feel like, you know, we all have our pastimes, or sometimes I feel like, you know, things will happen and our mind is only so fast. So sometimes like things will happen and we'll catch on to it, and then sometimes we're like, did this happen before, but we're just finally catching up to it. So that's just kind of how I felt about it too. But yeah, I don't know, that's just kind of like my thing on deja vu. Hey.
All right. Well, it seems like
Well,
people
definitely
are
time
now
to wrap
coming.
up because
Yeah.
people are coming in. Sorry, we're
You're
filming.
good.
Oh my.
All right,
no,
y'all.
you're fine. Yeah.
Thank you for tuning into our channel. And once again, let's go ahead and say,
Unplug your mind.
No, wait.
Oh.
And once again, unplug your mind.
mind.
Love you guys.
Peace.
Love y'all. Peace.